A lot of people going to prison. A lot of people going to jail.
Woo-hoo. Trump came in office. He hit the ground running before he came in. And it's to clean up this government to get our country back on track. And that's exactly what he's doing. Look at all the money that they are finding.
It's going to be some folks in there with cellies.
What's on your side? Oh, that's you busted that bump. Hey, let me get the little stuff. Oh, any other time you want me to get the white spots off? You ain't looking like Chalky Bryan.
I like
chocolate cheeks.
I like your spit used for others.
That's too grown. Okay. But
hey,
yes.
we can talk like we've been married almost 20 years.
Well, we might have some younger folk watching our channel. Okay. Let's get into this video. What is he saying? Do we need to give a little brief about who
I'm sorry,
Stephen
y'all.
Bannon is? Do you want to? Do you know more about who he is?
I don't know a lot about Stephen Bannon. I've seen him interviewed 2 times. I was on Megyn Kelly and somewhere else.
Ask ChatGPT real quick.
I don't want to do too much. I don't want to throw y'all off. Y'all know y'all attention span about 2 seconds.
Well, for those of you who don't know who Stephen Bannon is, just give a brief summary.
Chat, who is Stephen Bannon? Chat, who is Stephen Bannon?
Steve Bannon is put it up here so they can hear it.
Known for his was a media executive, former investment banker, and political strategist. He was the executive chairman of Breitbart News and served as the chief strategist for President Donald Trump early in his administration. Bannon is also known for his involvement in right-wing political movements and for his controversial views.
All right, cool. Appreciate it.
Short and sweet. Okay.
Send you to prison, or in Trump's case, and I've warned about this, assassination. So I said, if you're not prepared to go to prison, if you're not prepared to sacrifice your life, you're in the wrong line of work. This is all-out political warfare between 2 sides of the United States that can't stand each other. Each side thinks we're barbarians. We think they've destroyed the country. We think they're dangerous. They think that we're beyond dangerous.
In Donald Trump's first 2 weeks in office, he began a program of mass deportations, fired top FBI officials, ended DEI across the government, cut billions of dollars in wasteful spending, laid off tens of thousands of government workers, and ended temporary protected status for hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens. My name is Stephen Edgington, and joining me to discuss the first few weeks of the second Trump administration is Stephen K. Bannon. Are we witnessing a campaign of revenge?
A campaign of revenge by the president? I think anything but. Remember, his revenge is going to be
success,
the new golden age.
Yes.
I think what you're seeing is a very focused deconstruction of the administrative state and take down the deep state. We call it Days of Thunder here. And folks should understand that
Days of Thunder.
President Trump's political comeback started the day he got back to Mar-a-Lago with the war room and the war room posse and this kind of grassroots effort that turned into the precinct strategy and had his back the whole time. That's the political side, which most people think is everything. But the other side was these public intellectuals. America First Party Institute under Brooks Rollins and Stephen Miller, America First Law under Miller, Center for Renewing America under Russ Vought, the infamous Project 2025, but that was to look at verticals of everything we wanted to accomplish, drill deep into policy, and to start to put together teams. Remember, we can hit the deck plates running with 4,000, there's 4,000 people to control a government.
Wait, is Steve Bannon the one who is the Project 2025 person? Wait, hold on. Wait.
I don't think so. I don't know. Is he?
Hold on. So it says in a January 25th interview, Bannon emphasized the project's significance, stating that the next administration will be better positioned to hit the ground running due to the preparedness facilitated by the initiatives like Project 2025.
So hold on, just ask the question. Chat. Is Steve Bannon a part of Project 2025?
I'm not sure about Steve Bannon's involvement in Project 2025. Would you like me to look it up for you?
Yes.
Steve Bannon isn't directly involved in Project 2025, but he has discussed its influence on the next administration. Would you like more details?
No.
Okay.
Let me know if there's any.
Government that is about 10 million employees. That's 2.5 million civilian bureaucrats, 2.5 million military, about 5 million contractors at some sort of executive level. So it's about 10 million that controls a budget of $6.5 trillion a year in assets of, I don't know, 75, 80 trillion. So it's massive. And they've been working for years. And now you're seeing the days of thunder. Every day there's, 5 executive orders, 10 more executive actions, legislation that's started or signed, all types of other activity, everything from freeing hostages to freeing the guys who are down in Venezuela, the people that went down there to try to free the people in Venezuela. So everything across the board. So it's not revenge. It's really setting things right. The American people kind of demanded this. They voted for it, and
Right.
they're getting it.
What I find incredible is the lack of opposition in the last 2 weeks. What happened to the resistance?
I think you see, I want to make it the analogy kind of the Tory party to the Reform Party. In the established order, they get so lazy because they control the levers of power. They control the financial community, or the financial community. So it's the financial community, the tech community, the corporatist, the universities, pop culture, high culture, media, and they get lazy. I am not shocked. I am surprised at how quickly the ideas are evaporating. What I mean by that, when you say no resistance, let's break it down in pieces. Number one, in the confirmation hearings, and we just had Tulsi and Bobby Kennedy approved, which they said was never going to happen. After we got Pete Hegseth approved, they said it was never going to happen. If you go back and your audience looks at the confirmation hearings, Marco Rubio's laying out the end of the post-war international rules-based order. Pete Hegseth's talking about a revolution in military affairs. Russ Vought and really Scott Bessent are talking about a new economic model for the United States based on external revenue. Look at this thing, what we call the golden door, the golden market. Huge ideas put out on this Trump revolution, what he calls a revolution of common sense. There's no pushback. There's people going after the personal shortcomings or foibles of these individuals, but there's no pushback, virtually no pushback on the ideas, and ideas have consequences. Then if you look at the resistance in the streets, a lot of this, remember, it's how it's financed. This is why USAID is so important. So we're choking down and cutting off the oxygen because this hasn't really been financed by a lot of private groups. That money's all been slush fund through the government. So when you talk about resistance at every level, they've been shattered.
That's how, like Elon, they were able to get that money back so fast that whatever that $60 million that went over to the illegal migrants and allowed them to stay in luxury hotels in New York.
Yes.
He was able to get that money back so fast. I believe all he said is nope. Because he said, like he said, they're slushing it around. They just, oh yeah, let's send it over there. And it's not legally supposed to go over there. That's not where it belongs. So he like, send it back. And then he'd be like, okay, let me send it back.
So crazy.
Think how much money, think about if we had a Doge for the last 20 years, we would be out of this high trillion deficit. Maybe we would be billions of debt versus trillions of debt. You get what I'm saying?
And they couldn't even, go ahead.
From their financing sources, the media is kind of is just almost like a puppy now because their audience has collapsed. And one of the reasons their audience collapsed, they lied to them the entire time about how they were going to win. So at every level where there would be resistance, there's just been an absolute collapse. On top of that, the Democrats, because as I've been saying for a long time, they're ruled kind of from this octogenarian group. Those people refuse to turn over power. The committee heads, they had a protest yesterday, and the committee heads of the Democrats are all, white guys in their 70s and their 80s that don't even, can't communicate with a young audience. So no, it's been shattered.
That's the problem.
It will come back as it thinks through, but the resistance to Trump 2.0 has been less than the resistance of the Tories to Nigel Reform Party, and that's kind of hard to believe since it looks like there's been almost no resistance to that. So you are where you are, and I think my theory of the case of flood the zone and give them all pedal, no brake.
Let's go.
It's just attack, keep driving it, flood the zone, overwhelm them. It gets to be a psychological thing. They don't even know what to choose and picking. You see it by the coverage. They're overwhelmed. They don't know where to turn. They don't have the normal levers of power they could grab. And so they're kind of adrift.
Who do you think should be on the top target list of the Trump DOJ?
Well, first, I think we have to go back. I'm a huge advocate that radical transparency and declassification is our best friend. I think just in the Trump era, we have to go back to the beginning. And I'm a very strong advocate that DOJ can handle this because they got so much going on. To really make sure that we never go through another period of weaponization, I think a special prosecutor overall has to do it. And the special prosecutor then goes back to even before Trump was president. You go back to Crossfire Hurricane. You go back to Cambridge. You go back to MI6 involvement. You go back to the Five Eyes involvement in all this. You're going to have to go in some places that people don't want to go, but it has to happen. We have to find out about the intelligence community overall. You have to go back to the Russia hoax, all of that. You have to go back to then the stolen election. You have to go back to J6 to get to the bottom of that. And then the vast criminal conspiracy against President Trump to indict him 92 times on charges that just on the Jack Smith stuff alone would be 300 years in a federal prison because they wanted him to die in federal prison. The reason they were so over the top,
that's what they
the
wanted.
audience should miss the point. They never thought we would be back.
Nope.
They thought we were finished. We can put
That's
Bannon in
right.
prison, Navarre in prison, we can prison Trump. They're finished. It was the exact opposite. And that's one of the reasons that they're so shocked and so not organized in the resistance. They just got lazy, right? And didn't work the big muscles, didn't do the reps you need, like in sports, to be on top of things. In addition to all that happening, I think further investigations have to go on the pandemic. Further investigations have to go of how we had this, of the invasion of our country, very organized, who paid for it, who did it. So to me, there's a massive series of investigations we have to have so the American people can fully understand how the apparatus came about, how it was weaponized, and then how is it used against the American people and everything like the pandemic to things like the invasion of our country. So I think these are massive investigations. If I felt confident that Congress could do it in an organized way with public hearings, I would be the first to advocate that, and maybe it's dual track. But I believe you have to have a grand jury, you have to have high levels of evidence, and all this has to be made public. But I think this goes on for years, and to me, it's one of the most important things we could do. It has to happen, or we're not going to have a country. Just us winning and changing fundamentally things, the administrative state will not. You have to go. The cancer is in the body.
Yes.
It's metastasizing. Now we're here stopping it on the administrative state, on the deep state, but you've got to go back to the source of the disease and really not just cut it out, but actually understand and study it of how it happened and who's responsible. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that go to prison. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to go to prison for many, many years.
Just before Biden left office, he issued a series of pardons to his allies, preemptive pardons and so on. Do you think that those should still apply? Is there any way of getting around those pardons?
It's a quite fascinating topic. I believe Biden waited too long because he's trying to be cute and don't want to too wit. People were walking into the Capitol for the inauguration, and at noon is when you traditionally take the oath around noon. So officially the term ends at noon on the 20th. People were walking in at close to 11 o'clock, and they're announcing pardons. This is how ashamed they were of the pardons for the family, etc. I find it ironic since I went to a federal prison, and I didn't go to a camp. I went to a prison. I went to a cell block and a cell in a 800-man prison that has 1,200 prisoners because of overcrowding. The people that put me there are who thought I would never return and never come back. Nancy Pelosi has kind of been kicked to the curb because all the older Democrats are looked at as feckless. But the J6 committee went begging for pardons. This is unheard of. They approached the White House and put huge pressure on Biden to give them preemptive blanket pardons, which we don't even know is legal. It's never happened in the United States except one technical time on Nixon. And Nixon really had a House Judiciary Committee that was about to issue criminal indictments on him. So it wasn't like he didn't, they had a process that went on for over a year. Nixon knew specifically what he was going to be charged with when this happened, or relevant thing. So it wasn't a blanket preemptive pardon. It was kind of done to make sure he had a deal. They guaranteed it to him so he'd get out of the White House and they could go on with their life. This is totally different. The people that put me in prison for a misdemeanor for 4 months, which also people understand, in a federal prison, the prison I was in is over 100 years old, has never had a misdemeanor. One of the guys there told me one time they couldn't find a misdemeanor in the federal system. Our prisons are so overcrowded; they don't even have room for the felons.
Wow.
So those people, Liz Cheney and Benny Thompson, the people that went after Trump and gave criminal referrals on Trump that Jack Smith then lined up for 300 years in prison, crimes for 300 years in prison on Trump, and sent Peter Navarro to prison and sent 1,000 J6 people to prison.
Wow.
These people then went begging for a pardon for what they had done. I'm going, whoa.
That's crazy.
What they done can't stand up underneath scrutiny.
Right.
So number
But you
one,
can send anybody else to prison.
technically, and I've been a big advocate of this, that the Justice Department should not effectuate any of those, or we've got to go another route because we are going to hold these people accountable. This is going to be a massive part of the investigation of the vast criminal conspiracy, not just against President Trump and not just the people but what actually went on. I have no time and no burning place in my heart for revenge. What I have is that this can never happen again. Fortunately, I happen to be a tough enough Mick that I could get through it 70 years old, 4 months in prison, which is not easy. These prisons are quite dangerous because of the drugs, okay, and the violence that comes from the drugs. It's really for the J6 people and others and people that don't have my financial resources or kind of, cussedness that they have to be protected. We can never allow this to happen again.
Right.
I know so many people are saying if they went to prison, they'd be shattered for what they had to have. The J6 people were so arrogant, so cocky in Justice Department because they never thought Trump's people were coming back.
That's
and now
right.
they're petrified. And I hear that Jack Smith's team is quite upset that they didn't get pardons. Wow. I will just tell them, lawyer up. You might want to check countries that don't have treaties with the United States, right? You might want to look at living the rest of your life there because investigations are going to happen. We cannot. And President Trump has no time for this. He's doing his thing, but there are people around him, and you can already see with the people going to the Justice Department. Emil Bovey has just been a superstar over the last 3. He's the number 3 guy. The people around President Trump that Boris Epstein put in there are extraordinary. So folks in England should understand we're going to have things like this are going to happen every day, but there's going to be a massive investigation side that's not driven by Trump, but driven by other people, so we can make sure that this never happens again in our republic.
That's right. Come on.
Are you satisfied that you're not going to go to prison again? Because I know there was a case in New York against you. Obviously, you're not protected.
No, I don't think
federally.
I will go to. It's a totally trumped up charge. When they built the wall, it went from saying, "Oh, he stole $22 million and they did it from all people in Manhattan." They just in a court filing or in court a month ago, they said it's about $50,000 that I gave to the veteran that had no legs on money that they were paying me to do all the organizational effort I did around the wall. So no, I'm very confident that I won't go to jail again. But you know what? It's an Alvin Bragg. We now know that U.S. aid money went to back Soros to back this. These are all rigged. It's the same situation that gave President Trump, found him guilty of 34 felonies. So you can't get a fair trial. You know that. And they would put President Trump in. If he had not won on November 5th, your audience should understand President Trump would have been in, they would have tried to put him in prison for a decade just in New York City. So this is dangerous. It's so rigged. And we're seeing people now start to reject it. But no, I feel highly confident that won't happen. But I tell people, don't think this is, unless we take this out root and branch now, this could always come up in the future. And I tell people when they first come in, they want to be in leadership roles. I said, listen, you got to do a deep you got to do a deep check here because we're going up against the established order that controls the most powerful nation in the history of the earth. They will send you to prison, or in Trump's case, and I've warned about this, assassination. So I said, if you're not prepared to go to prison, if you're not prepared to sacrifice your life, you're in the wrong line of work.
Wow. I mean, I want to watch the whole thing. This was so good. I mean, I was just sitting here thinking, if we actually knew every little thing that was going on behind closed doors,
I don't want to know.
Our minds would just be we would just be, we would probably feel like somewhat crazy and angry and mad because we have been betrayed by a government that we have been paying taxes to, that we have been buying into forever. And look at this. So then preemptive, they don't even know why they're getting pardoned, but they got a pardon. So what did you do? What did you do? And then they said it may not even be legal. You may not even be able to do that. I just thank God
The
that
Democratic,
Trump is in office.
the left side, that junk was so rigged and trash. So it's going to things are going to keep coming out, and people are going to go to jail. People are going to go to jail. But
I believe it.
But some people are going to lawyer up so hard to keep them out of jail. Like
those who have the resources, we gonna
first
see.
name N, last name initial P.
Yeah, she definitely need her papers. She definitely needs her papers.
She already came in.
They're gonna put her on the ankle monitor.
You saw when she came in there with that walker.
They're gonna put on a house arrest. She gonna be walking around her mansion with a house arrest on.
That's the
least they gonna. Child, please, she ain't going.
That's her daily cardio.
She's not going anywhere. I don't believe it.
I only believe certain people going. I believe certain people going to jail, but I mean certain people going to jail. That's what it is.
If she does, I would be surprised.
Me too. But man, it's about to be a massive prison assignment. We're already getting all our money back. I would love, it'd be so amazing. You give within the 4-year term that we can retrieve billions back to where we can get our deficit down. Because you got to think, if our deficit's down, that benefits the American people. Mm-hmm. Money goes to the right place, and we're not owing as much, so you get a little bit more leniency with things. That'll be a blessing to the American people.
Yep. I'm just interested to see how much more. This has been done. He has a goal within the first 100 days.
Yes.
So what's going to happen within the first 365, and then the next, and then the next? The 4 years. I just truly can see strides if we don't have any unexpected craziness.
I want to see.
All I'm saying is, I just want to see how it's going to be.
I want to see what 6 months looks like. I just said that I just had a vision of you just said no craziness, and I just saw a vision of Troy Black's thumbnail icon of Trump, the White House, and it was something they were pointing to in the sky. So okay, but yeah, so
if anything goes down, I feel more safe and comfortable with this administration than the last one.
Yeah.
The last one was, every man was for himself in that last administration.
All right, y'all, man. It's a lot of people going to jail, man. We gonna see this out through, and I'm waiting to see who the first one going in, man. 2025 is a guaranteed time to thrive, and you better.
That's right. Like this video, share, comment, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye. Jesus is Lord.